Hello again, bronies, Pegasisters, and unbelievers. I am Raz, and I'm here with a rather tired look at Shadow Era today. I apologize, my commentary is a bit off. I've been on my feet since like 7 in the morning, and I didn't get to sleep till like 5 in the morning, so I'm tired, to put it bluntly, but I'm not going to let that stop me from attempting this recording, as short as it may be. Anyway, so as I said, this is Shadow Era today. I know it's not one of my Let's Play series, but I don't know, I haven't really been in the mood to do a Let's Play video in a while, so I'm just kind of doing random things when the mood takes me. But enough about that. So, what exactly is Shadow Era? Well, if you've seen Total Biscuit's WTF is of the game, you should have a pretty rough idea, but for those of you who haven't seen it, Shadow Era is a collectible and trading card game in the vein of Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, World of Warcraft TCG, you know, all that sort of stuff. As you can see by my deck, you know, fairly standard stuff. But yeah, so it's basically a trading card. It's a free trading card game as well. Unlike Magic the Gathering PC games, which you do have to pay for. You know, this one is completely free to play, and it can actually stay that way, which is one thing I like about it. Now we'll cover the store real quick, and as you can see, you have like full starter decks for each of the heroes currently in the game. And you also have 15 card booster packs, which are just random cards you can use to bolster your existing deck or build new ones with over time, I suppose. Anyway, as you'll note, all of these require gems. And as you can see, I don't have a lot of gems, so I can't afford anything at the moment. Now, how that works is you can actually come here and buy gems with for real world dollars. And as you can see, the prices, in my opinion, they aren't too bad, you know. I mean, 220 gems is $2, and 200 gems will buy you 2 of anything on this screen right here, without fail, you know. There is also the button here, Earn Crystals, which I had a brief look at. I can't really show you because it launches in the browser, and I'll type out the game and screw up the recording, but basically, you go to a site and there's a list of surveys and things like that, and you know, you do the surveys and they give you crystals in return, but nah, I never subscribe to that kind of thing, you know. There's a few that's like go play Castleville on Facebook or something for an hour and you get 50 crystals or something, but you know, that's only if you want to do that sort of thing. I prefer to just pony up a few dollars now and again to buy the cards that way. Alternatively though, you do actually earn 25 crystals every time you level up. I don't know how many levels there are, so I don't know how many crystals you can earn total, but you know, 4 levels equals 1 starter deck, booster pack, whatever, so you don't even have to do the earning crystals method if you don't want to. You can just play and play and play and essentially grind your way to another deck or whatever, so there's plenty of options there. You can also buy cards individually, as you can see. In this case you use gold instead of gems, and gold, the only way to get gold from what I can tell is to actually play the game, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I'll buy a card right now. I'll buy another one actually. There we go. So I just brought a couple of cards, and basically all I have to do is go fight a few of the AI controlled opponents on the map, and I'll be able to, let's go back to my turn, that's stupid, you know, I can get more gold and buy more cards individually. Just quickly add these to my deck, as you can see, simple as that. Now the decks are fully customizable. That's one thing I do like above Magic the Gathering, is the fact that you can build the entire deck from scratch. You know, if I wanted to, I could completely wipe the deck and start over. You know, I have a second hero available and another set of cards based around her that I could easily put together and salvage some of the cards from this deck to work with it as well. So, full customization of your deck. It's cheap to buy cards, or you can just earn them, whichever way you want to do it. So, yeah, and you can play the game in your browser, or actually download a client and play it off your computer, which is how I'm doing it now. I prefer clients to browsers personally, but that's just me. But I think that's about all I can cover. There is online multiplayer via the screen here, the challenge screen. As you can see, there is a lot of people playing this game right now. But yeah, I haven't actually tried multiplayer yet because I know for a fact I'm going to get destroyed. I get destroyed by the AIs often enough, so yeah. I think the last thing I will cover before I leap into the game, there is the custom AI option, which from what I can tell you have to manually build their deck from scratch or something. You know, manually build the deck the AI is going to use, and I don't know, it's not a bad thing, but at the same time it sounds rather unfair because then you know everything he can and can't do. Whereas here, the 5 monsters I can fight all have decks pre-built for them, so I have no idea what I'm going to be up against until I actually fight one. So without further ado, let's pick an opponent and show off the gameplay. As you can see, it starts off rather simple. We each draw a hand of 6 cards and see who goes first. Now, much like WoW, this game focuses on the idea of a resource system, which basically boils down to you sacrifice cards in your hand like so to generate resources to buy or pay for the monsters and weapons and stuff you're going to be using against your opponent. As you can see, I'll sacrifice 2 cards. I can now put a soldier on the field. So yes, I compare this more heavily to the WoW TCG than Magic the Gathering, because it doesn't actually have cards specifically, you know, land cards specific for resources. You have to give up your actual magic and hero cards to summon monsters in this game, which might not be ideal, but at the same time, you know, it works. It makes you think tactically, because you could give up a card that you might not need and then end up screwing yourself over later on when you realize that card would actually be very useful. So, it keeps you on your toes when you're buying and discarding cards. This time we'll give up one of my monsters and we'll use Throwing Knife. Kill this girl off. Now this unfortunately brings me to one of my complaints about the game that I've encountered so far, and that's the fact that there's little to no sound. As you no doubt notice, when the monsters are attacking each other and the heroes and all that, there's nothing, no sound whatsoever. The soundtrack, I'm going to shut up for a second and let you listen to. The soundtrack, in my opinion, is amazing. You know, it's cool. You know, if I could, I would gladly actually buy the soundtrack separate. It's got some pretty nice beats to it, but again, with the complete lack of sound, the game is kind of relying heavily on the music to get it through. Otherwise, it's going to be completely silent. And I mean, the fact that there's crickets chirping in the background right now kind of emphasizes my point a little too well, I think. Anyway, not much I can say gameplay wise, because it's pretty much just your standard trading card game, you know, Magic the Gathering, WoW, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff. You summon monsters, you attack your opponent, you summon items to use with your hero, and that's about it. Just keep hitting your opponent until he dies or you die. I will admit, for a game that's like not officially licensed and is just put together by an indie developer. The artwork on the cards is actually pretty amazing. I mean, the attention to detail and the variety in the cards, especially this early on, is really astounding to say the least. I don't know, maybe I'm giving them a little too much credit, but given I actually have several TCG sets laying around to compare to these, I can say these are pretty impressive. I mean, in my opinion, these cards are probably better than World of Warcraft's. Heresy, I know, but still, it's true. It does unfortunately fall into the pitfall of having most of the female characters being extremely scantily clad, but come on, it's a fantasy game. What fantasy game doesn't have that kind of thing going for it? It would be a fantasy game without grossly disproportionate armor. I'm not sure that's the right word. Well, armor that is not suited for combat, I'll put it that way. The commentary while tired is stupid. FYI. Now, unfortunately, the lack of sound does, in my opinion, hurt the game a bit, because that's something I do miss from Magic the Gathering. It's, you know, the sound of clawing and sword clashing and that Magic the Gathering has, and I won. As you can see, I get a little bit of gold and some XP, and we're gonna move back here, pick a new enemy. Might as well keep going so I can finish my commentary. But I don't know, the sound is not something I'd take points off for, but at the same time, it is something I feel is lacking. You know, I mean, there is the odd sound when a magic spell goes off, like a fireball or something, but you know, the complete lack of sound for the majority of the game is a little disappointing. But what are you gonna do? Again, the music's pretty solid though. I do like the soundtrack. It is a bit it is a bit limited though, I will confess. You know, there is only like 4 or 5 tracks, I think, so that can probably be a negative as well. But nothing that kills the game. Special effects are pretty cool when a spell goes off. The animation's fast and smooth. The artwork on the cards is pretty impressive. Gameplay wise, it is very solid. I mean, I've been comparing it to WoW and all that throughout the game. Well, throughout the commentary rather, and it, in my opinion, it's probably better than them. You know, maybe that's stretching it a bit too far, but that's just my opinion on the subject. Especially since I haven't actually had the opportunity to play the WoW TCG properly. I have tons of cards, but there's no one around where I live that plays it. So that is a bit of a bother. But again, what are you gonna do? I have played Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, in both physical and computer game forms. I have played Magic the Gathering a few times and that, and, you know, I think this holds up pretty well. It's a solid game. My commentary is rapidly running dry, so that's not good. I'm getting rapidly stomped into the dirt, that's even better. Magic card. Not sure what else I can say, unfortunately. I mean, as I said, the game's very fun. I've been playing it almost non-stop since I downloaded it about 2 days ago. and yeah, you know, I've yet to find a reason to put it down. There is the odd frustration where, you know, in typical TCG fashion, you end up with a bad hand out of the gate and you can't really recover from it in time. You know, that's always frustrating, but it doesn't kill it either, you know. I mean, that's just the luck of the draw. You can't help it if you don't shuffle your, you know, if the deck shuffle comes out wrong for you. I'm gonna get stomped in the dirt in a second, and there goes Facebook. Well, too bad, I'm busy. Now comes the actual tough parts of the game where you have to stop and look at your options, decide what's actually your smart move. It's one of the things I really like about this game is with Magic the Gathering, and that usually, for me at least, it's usually either game over. Another message. Go away. It's usually pretty much set in stone, you know. You look at your cards and go, right, this and this is what I'm going to do, because it's very restricted in what you can do each turn. You know, you're usually only able to summon one card or whatever, unless there's special rules on it, so. Oh, crap. So he's healing up for every card he has I've taken off the board. And he just mind controlled my guy to attack me. As you can see, the cards in this game are pretty brutal if you're not prepared for them. Unfortunately, you do have moments like this where the game seems to just halt for a second. You know, the AI stops to think or something, and there can be these awkward pauses where you're just left waiting for something to happen, but they're few and far between. Yeah, it's pretty quick, and there is options to speed things up. You know, you do have game speed options, so you can speed it up and make the game go a bit faster if you don't want to sit around too long. But unfortunately, yeah, there is a couple of minor hiccups in the game, I will confess. Now, as you probably saw a second ago when I was trying to sacrifice a card, I had to sit there clicking on the card, putting it down again about 4 or 5 times before it actually let me sacrifice it, which, to put it bluntly, is a pain in the neck, but it's rare. Glitches like that don't happen very often. So, nothing to worry about in my opinion. It happens, but you can easily look past it. You down. Who's got the highest attack rating? 2. This is my magic card. That's gonna hit like a truck next turn, so kill him. Use her hyped up attack, take a chunk out of the hero. Her attack to take him down another notch. Hopefully we can balance this game out and I can turn it around. Anyway, unfortunately I'd probably say go check out Total Biscuits WTF is on the game, because quite frankly he's an experienced reviewer. Oh god. He's an experienced gamer, an experienced reviewer and all that, so he can pretty much tell you better whether this game's good or bad and such like that. I'm not trying to review the game, I'm just here to play it, and you know, I figured I'd talk for 10 minutes. It seemed like a good idea at the time, don't judge me. And the game has proved me wrong by having the same glitch pop up again. A nuisance, but a manageable one. Like I said, the glitches don't happen often enough to really kill them. Excuse me, to kill the game, so might as well play it. Oh god, it just removed it. And the poison. I didn't know that would happen. Good on me, I should have researched that better. Now, that's probably one thing I will mention, is that the game doesn't actually have a solid tutorial. You get a few pop-up boxes the very first time you play a match against the AI telling you, you know, how to use resources and sacrifice cards and all that. Which is alright, but it doesn't teach you all the basics, like, several of the cards have special abilities on them that are not explained. You actually have to go searching through the help interface to find it, so it is a little annoying that the game doesn't tell you these things like Magic the Gathering and that does, but at the same time, not game breaking, so not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like, all the information is there. You just go into the help screen and search for what you need to find out, but the fact that it doesn't tell you anything while you're actually playing the game, or has an actual tutorial stage to teach you all the information you'll need, it's a little concerning. Because I was left trying to figure out a couple of my cards for a while until I finally found well, I finally stopped being stupid and opened the help screen to find out what was going on. This is gonna hurt. Oh no, he didn't pick me. Haha. That was close. Anyway, as I was saying, when I finally stopped being an idiot and looked at the help screen, I figured out what the cards meant, so that was fine, but would it have killed you to tell me, or have the option to find out the information in the game itself? Not a complaint, just an observation. The information is all presented fairly smoothly, and it's all tied up in the actual game interface, so there's nothing really stopping you from, you know, it's not like you have to alt-tab out and spend 2 hours crawling through their, you know, the browser and their site and everything to look for the information you'll need. It's all handily locked up here in the actual game interface, which is good. Anyway, I don't think there's really much more I can say about this game. I mean, it's free, so you haven't really got an excuse not to play it. I mean, if TCGs are not your forte or your cup of tea, fine, but you know, you can't really say the game's too expensive for you. It costs nothing to pick up and play, and you don't even have to download anything. You can just go to their site, punch in a username and password, and start playing right off the bat. So, you know, if you're interested in TCGs, I'd say give it a look. You know, can't go wrong. It's a fairly solid game. The artwork's impressive. The sound leaves a lot to be desired. The music's pretty solid. The gameplay is great and it's easy to pick up. There's no overly complicated rules or things you have to memorize, like in Yu-Gi-Oh! And no, I'm not taking a shot at the game, I'm just saying there is a lot of rules you have to memorize to properly, you know, to get the game to its fullest extent. So here, everything's pretty much laid out at the start and easy to memorize. I mean, you can play like one round and pretty much know everything there is to know. Actually putting that knowledge to the test and pulling it off accurately is a different thing, and having the cards work with you rather than against you is a different matter entirely, but that's the luck of the draw in a TCG. So yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot more of this. I might throw another video or two out there, we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure what else to suggest, so unless you want to see me play more, get another round, but I think I'm just going to get some sleep. It's been a long day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, if you haven't already decided to look at it, hopefully I've convinced you to at least give Shadow Era a try if it looked interesting. I'm certainly not going to force people to play the games I do, but hey, if you liked what you saw, why not give it a look? Anyway, happy gaming, folks!